Good morning. So, the channel, thanks to you, just cracked 10,000 followers. So, massive thank you for that. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about how YouTube changed my life. We're also going to be talking about numbers, so the revenue that's coming in, because I know some of you might be very interested in that. But before we do all that, the sun is out, so let's get a quick ride in with the boys. Let's go. Alles gut. Man, I never want to miss that electric pump. What a nice ride. So now we're back, and I wanted to say again, thanks a lot. Reaching this 10,000 subscriber milestone wouldn't have possible without 10,000 of you out there following this channel, listening to me talk, and so I really appreciate that. And looking back at over 2 years back in time, I think, when just a friend of mine casually told me that I should try out cycling because it is good for your endurance and for your fitness, so I should give it a try. I bought a €300, I think, second-hand yellow bike from a company called Checker Pig. As I'm kind of working all day at the computer while during my full-time job and also while working on music, I kind of love tinkering around and also learning new things. So I very quickly started taking it apart, learning about how to reassemble it. I also didn't really like the yellow color, so I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on how to paint this bike to be black. And I painted in black, reassembled it, rode it a little bit, sold it again, and then I actually dove down that deep rabbit hole of Chinese carbon and Chinese parts and AliExpress. So I would say at that point it became a little bit of an obsession. And while I was actually down in that AliExpress Chinese carbon rabbit hole, of course I was also exploring what kind of higher quality bikes exist out on the Chinese market without going for the mainstream brands that are known here. I found brands like Yoeleo, and I followed them on Instagram, and I started liking and commenting their images and their videos because I really liked how some of their bikes looked like and what kind of paint jobs they've been offering. And at one point, actually, somebody from Yoeleo reached out to me asking if it's really me, as weird as that sounds, because it seems that that person was, or hopefully is, still a fan of my music and listened to my tracks on Spotify or whatever their counterpart is in China. And he hooked me up with an R12 frame, and that bike, I really loved it. I mean, I've been riding it a lot here in Berlin and in Warsaw. I even took it out on a cycling vacation in Mallorca. I think that was actually my first cycling vacation with that bike, and it really I think it really unlocked a big part of this journey, or it put me on the path of this journey on exploring more and more topics and frames and bikes in that direction, because coming from the bike that I was riding before, that Checker Pig that I was mentioning, it was such a massive difference in ride quality that I was really excited to feel what else is there beyond that frame. Lots of honking outside, huh? Anyways, so now fast forward a little bit over 2 years, and here we are with a channel that, I still can't believe it, that I have brands reaching out and willing to collaborate with me, trusting that I'm gonna be delivering some value to them and their products, as well as to you, my audience. So yeah, this is something that I kind of like still have to pinch myself now and then. So I quickly want to take this moment and thank a bunch of very special, very particular brands out there who trusted me on this journey so far. Let's of course start with one of the first ones, Yoeleo. Then there's of course Elite Wheels, Sirocco, Napest, Winspace, CRW, Goat Wheels, Cybre, L2, more recently also Elili, Number 6 Wheels, Big One, Kia, Brisk Wheels, and of course the one and only Bossy. And speaking of Bossy, I think that this collaboration with this brand really elevated the channel to a whole other level. Like, I really had to start thinking a little bit differently around the content, because until then I was really constantly chasing what could be the next frame, what could be the next build. And right now with the Bossy bikes, I feel that I kind of arrived somewhere and I almost found my perfect spot, and I'm not really feeling that pressure anymore that I need to push more forward to find like the next big thing. And this kind of, it changed a little bit the way on how I'm approaching these videos and my channel in general, because it can't just be about just building another bike again. And it makes me rethink on, how I'm talking to you and how I'm continuing with the channel. And I have to say that through cycling, I really met a lot of amazing people. On one hand, on the rides out in real life, IRL, as the young kids say, and also here on the channel, in the comments, for example. Whenever I have a question or I'm doubting something during my builds or during my rides out where I feel that I lack knowledge, and I feel that every time I have a question or I'm not sure on how to move forward with something, that there's always like 10 people in the comments willing to help and willing to share their knowledge with me. So I feel that this is a very positive, happy and supportive community, which I'm very happy to be now part of it. So with this channel now, I don't just want to be building up the next bike, showing you the same thing for the 10th time, but I want to take you more out on my rides, on the casual conversations that we're having, understanding why other people are riding their particular bikes, speaking with a couple of brands that are here established in Berlin, and I hope that you also gotta be enjoying that side of this channel as well. So before we get into the finances of this channel, I'm also just talking about all these things to hopefully be motivating to some of you out there, because maybe some of you are on the verge of starting a YouTube channel, having a topic that they're passionate about, something that you actually want to share, but you come up with things that are holding you back. You don't have the right mic, you don't have the right camera, you don't have the lighting, you don't have all the knowledge yet, and so on and so forth. I know all these excuses, and at some point I just ignored them, and I just started running my own YouTube channel. As I said, I didn't know anything when I started things, and I learned everything from YouTube itself and from the community around it. And also think that based on some of the comments that I was getting on my early videos, which have been a lot of corrections from people on that I'm doing something not right, that here's a tip, here's an improvement for next time. And I think that a lot of people are actually very interested in following along a journey on how you document how you're learning. When I now compare the videos which I made over 2 years ago compared to the videos now and the knowledge that I had back then. And now it is also a very interesting journey for me to retrospect on. So I would say enough excuses. If you have an idea, if you have a passion, if you want to start a YouTube channel, just hit record, just do it. People are going to be supportive, people are going to help you in the community. And as I said, people are really interested in following a growth path. So no more excuses, start that channel now. But maybe on that note, let's talk money. So while I think on YouTube, actually, some YouTubers, particularly in the lifestyle sector or the business advice or financial sector, can make a good living out of their videos, at least based on some of those reveal videos that I've seen so far. Cycling doesn't necessarily seem to be one of those, because I mean right now This month, my estimated revenue is at 222 euros and 10 cents. So when I now quickly look back at the revenue of, let's say, for example, 2024, so the whole year together, I made 2,399 euros and 47 cents, and that is pre-tax. So that is profit, and in Germany at least, you're taxing this with around a third. So maybe you would have a hard time making a full-time living out of this. But I don't know if I already mentioned this, but this is absolutely not my full-time job. This is really passion driven. I have a regular full-time job as a product manager within the music space, and I'm also a DJ/producer, so a lot of time also goes into that project. So I'm luckily not really depending on this money from YouTube coming in. Of course, I love that there's some money coming in, but this also gives me that advantage to really be very picky and specific on the products that I'm reviewing, on the partnerships that I'm doing, because I don't have the financial pressure that I need to partner with this brand because they're offering the most money, or I need to partner with that brand because they're offering the most expensive product. So yeah, this is a little bit of a benefit to this. But yeah, if you thought that I'm about to buy that Porsche 911 because I'm doing a bunch of YouTube videos around cycling and I have 10,000 subscribers, which is for me a massive number, but financially, you see, it doesn't really mean anything. But still, as I said, it's a passion-driven project, something that I really, really love. I really enjoy being able to work with those brands, being able to ride the products that I'm really interested in, feeling what those minor differences are between some components and some frames, that I would potentially also do it without that money that's coming from YouTube. So I hope that answers your questions. If you have any more questions in regards to this, feel free to drop it down in the comments. And then I also asked for questions that you might have on my Instagram account recently. So let's quickly also address those. So let's pick 3 questions from the community. First one being, if I have any recommendation for somebody who wants to build up a bike for the very first time. I gotta say, I would recommend buying a second-hand frame similar to what I did. Maybe actually already a bike that's fully assembled, maybe a bike where you like the frame but the group set isn't the right one. Disassembling a bike into components already teaches you a lot along the way with very low risk of breaking things. And I also wouldn't go maybe for the super high-end carbon components in the very beginning, because yeah, playing around with torque and the torque wrench, or not having a torque wrench, could become an issue because these components can be quite fragile and you might be breaking things along the way, which can be quite costly. I mean, I'm speaking from experience here. I think I broke 2 shifters in the meantime. I think I broke a seat post as well. So yeah. Also, get a torque wrench. I would say that that's mandatory. You don't need to get one that's very expensive. I would say maybe get one where you can set the most important torques, like 2, 3, 4, 5 Newton meters. Oh, wait a second. Let me show you something. So I just got this torque wrench from Vera, and I think this is the perfect starting tool. It comes with the most important bits that you need, and then also on this piece you can basically define what torque you actually want to set. So you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just locked in. So yeah, this works this way, that if you, for example, set it to 2 Newton meters and you twist and you reach that torque, it basically just turns on its own without applying more force to the bolt. So that keeps you and your components safe. So yeah, that'd be my recommendation. Get a torque wrench, get a cheap second-hand bike where you might want to swap out some components and learn along the way and enjoy it, because it's actually quite easy and I think you're gonna have a lot of fun. Second question is, which cycling vacation areas except Mallorca can you recommend and have you been to? So far, cycling vacation wise, I mean, I've only actually been to Mallorca, but there is a very exciting journey coming up. I'm going to Cyprus for, I think, 4 days of cycling vacation. From images and stories, it looks like this could also be quite an epic destination, but yeah, there's going to be a dedicated video on that coming up. So the trip's going to be end of April, beginning of May, so if you're interested in that particular location, keep your eyes open, consider subscribing, so you don't miss that video. Other than that, I was of course also cycling in Poland a lot around Warsaw, but I would say this is more training rides than epic adventures, but I also didn't really explore those areas too much. Other than that, of course, I heard about Girona, I heard about Calpe. These are still on my list, but I haven't had the time or the opportunity to go and visit there. So if some of my viewers maybe have some recommendations, drop them down in the comments, so maybe the community can answer that question better than I do. So last question. So the last question is, what do you do for a living and do you miss Poland? So I guess you noticed that I was and I am riding quite a bit in Poland. I was actually born in Germany, but I'm spending a lot of time, especially around Warsaw, going back and forth between Berlin and here. But yeah, I never worked there and I never really lived there for an extended amount of time. But what I do for a living is, as I mentioned previously, I'm a product manager in a music tech company. I was doing product design for a lot of years before that. And I'm also a DJ on the side, which keeps my weekends busy and sometimes holds me back from going out on a ride, depending on how the flight schedule is and how long the nights have been. So I hope that answers your question. But just to get back to Poland, I of course always miss Poland, and therefore I'm always happy to come back. So this is gonna be it with this little celebration episode. Again, thanks a lot for everybody who's been supporting this channel by hitting that subscribe button, by liking, by commenting. Most of you have been very, very friendly in the comments. Not all of you, though, but still, I really feel blessed to be part of such a supportive and amazing community. So again, thanks a lot. I hope that you enjoyed this little episode. Again, if you did, don't forget to hit that like button to keep on supporting. And also, by the way, YouTube thinks that you might be liking this video because you might have not seen it yet. So yeah, consider that as well. And with that, as always, I say thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.